Hey all, so back with the third war of the season here. We've got some interesting ones in here. I think this first one is mostly a diversity fight. Red Hulk can hit hard, so I think the idea here is basically they're hoping that somebody will mess up against the node or just ignore it and try and kill him as quickly as possible and then end up getting clipped and basically one-shot. And I could definitely see that happening. However, I think that against almost any opponent on this power struggle node, what you're going to want to do is just let them keep getting to their first bar of power. And as long as you're not silly and don't do things like chain a bunch of medium combos or a bunch of heavies, as long as you throw your special as soon as you get it, there's really nothing to this. Now, I did think that I had landed a parry where I hadn't in there, and so I paid for going for it by eating a hit. But because of Counterpunch, I didn't need a full combo. So it wasn't necessary for Killmonger to go for that, but on some other nodes, using Counterpunch to land a heavy can be a lifesaver. So, unintentional demonstration of that. I actually think Guardian is a better placement on the first of these two nodes, because he auto-blocks specials. And so on that first node, a lot of the people who you might use to counter him would run the risk of being auto-blocked as soon as they go to throw that first special. However, Killmonger on this node can just wait for him to throw his special, get True Strike, and then you don't have to worry about the auto-block. Now, you'll also notice here I'm getting shocked periodically. That is just because I'm running Pacify, and so every time I stun him, his ability accuracy is dropping below 100, and he's putting that shock on me. That's not something I plan to do long term. That is only active because it's helpful in a couple Summer of Pain fights. There's another parry that I thought had stuck and had not. Love that. And of course, even with Killmonger's crit resistance, he crit and did the bonus damage. But what I was saying is that that shock, because it counts as a debuff, is giving Killmonger extra power, and even though this node is not terribly difficult, and I've taken it with Killmonger quite a few times, notice how he doesn't even have one Fury, because the extra power I've picked up from the shocks has meant that I haven't even come close to needing to run out of all my charges before landing a hit. So another parry there that I really thought, I don't know, I think I'm just rusty or something, but I really thought that the screen kind of like shook the way you know it does when a parry lands, and so I thought it was safe to go for those heavies. Was wrong 3 times in 2 fights. Not ideal, but Killmonger has crit resist, and so I'll just heal him up later. So now we have this Ebony Maw here again, except this is actually the easier of the 2 nodes. This is Spite, but not Kinetic Transference. And so I think that this is infinitely easier than the other one, because there's no downside to using Torch. And if there's ever a reason, or if there's ever not a reason to use Torch against a Mystic, I'm probably going to use Torch. Because his damage just spikes so quickly that if I can just sit here, not worry about the misses, who cares if he throws a special into my block? He doesn't have Aspect of Evolution, it's going to do pennies. If I can just sit there and do shortened combos, build up a bunch of Nova Flames, I'll take that kind of fight any day. Really easy placement. So then we have this Darkhawk, who definitely could be a problem on this node, right? Aspect of Evolution, Kinetic Transference, he's going to throw special ones. It's going to refill most of his bar of power. Maybe he can throw another special one, and every time he throws a special one, his attack value is going to be higher, and his block penetration is going to be higher because of Aspect of Evolution, and it could easily spiral out of control. So the plan here is to drop the Reed pre-fights and treat this kind of the way that you solo Darkhawk in Abyss with Torch. And that is to try and push him to his special 2, so he'll change phases, and basically just keep landing heavies against him to build those Incinerates, which will count as active debuff since we don't have the pre-fight, and therefore will be able to reverse his healing and just let him kill himself. It's a very safe game plan. Also, every time he does throw the special one, yes, he gains power and things can get out of control, but we also build smolders. Now, all this talk of game plans definitely did not include eating a full combo to the face. Those armor-piercing wing hits do hurt. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if I'm rusty or if it's the parry dex controls right now. I don't feel like I'm alone on either one, because I have seen death counts from other alliances that were, consistently sub 10 last season, whatever that was, and they've all been, pretty consistently above 10, sometimes even encroaching on 20. Things are definitely tricky right now. Whatever combination it is, nerves, rust, the bugs. So I think we're all just kind of doing what we can, but thankfully that was just one combo. It wasn't all crits, and so I was able to make my way out of there without too many difficulties. So now we're going to heal back up Killmonger for this Spider-Ham fight. Now, I maintain that because Spider-Ham can get a little stingy with his specials, and because his moveset will back you up if you let it, I actually prefer for this particular node She-Hulk with a House of X White Magneto pre-fight. Because then she can just parry heavy, you don't have to worry about the evades, you don't have to worry about limber, and because she has that built-in taunt on her Furies, you keep him staying aggressive, it's nice and safe. That didn't work out this time, so I'm using Killmonger. Now, when Spider-Ham first came out, I actually died to, I believe, him on this node with Killmonger. He ruined a deathless season for me. It was very sad. But as I've said a couple times since then, the key to fighting him with Killmonger is really just hit his block as much as you can. If there's ever an opening where you're not doing something else, and you have True Strike up, and he is either almost at a bar of power or has a bar of power, anything like that, hit into his block. It will make him more likely to throw his next special, it will keep him aggressive, and it will also keep you out of your own corner. You don't necessarily have to back him all the way up to his, but you don't want to get backed up to yours. The other thing is, which can be a little tricky with Killmonger, because every time that taunt lands, we gain some power. But I am trying to throw my special one about as soon as I get it to keep his spider nonsense down. Because that's gonna mean that our specials will actually hit. Right now, he's all the way up to 8, so he's taking, I believe it's 40% reduced damage from specials. Thankfully, the bleed still finished him off. Killmonger heals from the taunt. It's a very safe fight when handled properly. But you saw there how there are some things that need to be managed. The first time I took that fight, I did not manage them well, and I paid the price for it. I feel like I pretty much have it conquered now, and if you end up taking it, hopefully that helps you. So, like I said, it feels like I'm in a bit of a funk lately, honestly. I don't think I'm alone, like I said, but I would really like to get out of it as soon as possible. There were no deaths this war. There was one death last war and no deaths the first war of the season. But I've gotten hit way more than I planned in all 3 of these. And I would like that to stop as soon as possible. We'll see what happens. Hopefully there's another hotfix or something that actually does something. Hopefully I can just focus up a little more and deal with it, even if controls stay as they are. But this one was, again, another win, so we at least seem to be adapting as an alliance better than at least some of our opponents. Hopefully we can maintain that. So again, I will be continuing to get these videos out as soon as I can. Got more content coming up. If you enjoyed this, please pass it along. Maybe you already knew this info, but there's somebody in your alliance that you think could use a little bit of help fighting a Spider-Ham or a Darkhawk, something like that. I would greatly appreciate that. Again, hope this helped, and I will catch y'all next time. Take care.